Hey everybody, it's Emily and welcome to another edition of the Daily Evolution. And today is Money Monday, and today I wanted to examine the thoughts and feelings that you have around money, because the way that you feel about it will definitely be there will be a direct connection between that and if you're able to manifest it, if it's showing up in your life. And so I think I had talked about this a little bit before. One of the books that I had read, over a decade ago, was by this woman named Loral Langemeier, and she's written a couple of books, but the one was The Millionaire Maker. And the thing that she talked about in there that I loved so much was the psychology behind our relationship with money, and how when she was growing up she heard lots of phrases like money doesn't grow on trees, and we don't have enough, we can't do that, what do you and then I think Jack Canfield says like that this money story that he heard was like, well, what am I, Rockefeller, that kind of thing. And so I want you to think about, like when you were growing up as a child, what was the conversation around money that was happening for you. And I am still actively working to create that like both of my parents really were very good at managing money. They're very, I don't know that I would say frugal necessarily, but maybe a little bit like that. And so I feel like one of the gifts that I have is that I don't want to waste things. I love to make sure that I get full use out of things. I try not to acquire more things than I need. And some of that mindset I feel like sometimes creates limitations around manifesting money. And because my sister, on the other hand, she manifests loads of money. Like, she's really good at manifesting money. And so just thinking about like the feeling that money creates, and is there a fear or a lack of that? Is there a fear around a lack of money? Does the feeling of money create, like I have another client who we've been working on, the thought of being rich, so to speak, or having a lot of money creates a feeling of negative for her. She, had a negative experience with people that had a lot of money and that were wealthy growing up. And so just to begin to think about, like as a child and, through as you were growing up, what were the conversations around your household regarding money, and what does that look like for you now as an adult? So I want you to think about that, and I want you to think about, if you're not happy with the results that you're getting in regard to money, begin to change the feeling and the conversation around that. And abundance, I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Abundance and having an abundance mindset is one of the best ways to create money. And, with the state of our world right now and what's going on, there's a lot of fear around money. And I've had conversations with several people in the last couple of days who are losing lots of money as a result of, school closures and or, other places in their communities that are closing down. And so to begin to think about, what that relationship that you have with money and how you can manifest it, and is it possible for money to come in from other sources? Are you willing to open up those other avenues so that money can flow into your experience? One of the mantras that I use a lot is that money is coming easily and frequently to me, right? Money comes in easily and frequently. And when I'm really plugged into flow, that is so true for me, right? Clients come out of nowhere. I just wasn't expecting things to show up, or, I'll get a refund on, overpayment of something. Like, there's lots of different things that where money comes. There was $5 in my washer the other day, right? Like, there's money all around me, but sometimes I'm focused on, like, we get programmed into thinking about the lack of things. And so just want you to begin to think about like what that could look like for you, and how that plays out in your life. So as you begin to contemplate that and to kind of sit in that, we're going to do a little bit of deep breathing. And if you've not watched the deep breathing exercise, if this is your first time watching a Daily Evolution video, there is another video on the deep breathing exercise so that you can do that. Just pause this, go find that video either on my YouTube channel, or I think it's also on Instagram and or Facebook. So if you're however you're plugging into this, it's there. If you're checking this out in an email, it should be below directly below this video. So just pause this, go watch that, and then you can begin. So we're gonna start with 2 deep breaths in and out, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now go ahead and begin the deep breathing exercise. We're going to do that for a couple of minutes. Okay. This deep breathing exercise you can do anytime, right? That you're feeling a little maybe anxious or out of sorts. It's such a great way to sort of calm your vibration and get some clarity. So as you were thinking about what that money conversation looked like for you as a child and how that shows up for you in your experience as an adult, I want you to think about one thing that you could do today that would change the money conversation. And at one point, I had a business coach who suggested to me, or more like it wasn't really a suggestion, it was kind of a mandated, like, I want you to do this, that I pay myself first every time I, have a client come in and pay. I take a portion of that and I pay myself and I put it into an account that's called my wealth account. So I started doing that a number of years ago, and that I'm not allowed to use that money for bills or debt of any kind. Like, that money, that wealth account is only to invest in myself and or to invest in things that could get a return on my investment. And that feeling, doing that, has changed. She said that it would change the way my relationship with money at the time, and it really has done a lot for me in that regard. And I have to remind myself how valuable that is and how important that is. And so I just want to share that with you. That was my one thing that I did for a while that was intentional. So what is the one thing that you could do today? Maybe it's tipping somebody more, because if you had money, right, that feeling of abundance and what it would feel like if you would, it didn't matter, and not that it didn't matter, that it is that you would give more freely, right, more openly. Like, what is it that you would do if you had an abundance of money, right? What is the behavior that would shift and change? And what is one little thing that you can do today to be intentional about changing the recipe in regard to that relationship or that feeling that you have around money? So that is today's episode. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Turf Tuesday, where we examine a little bit about your personal or your physical environment and how you can show up and create a different space in regard to that. I love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing day today. And if you need any support or if there's things that I can do to help you, I'd love to help you with that. Have an amazing day. Talk to you tomorrow.